Welcome to Pediatric Dentistry from A to T, the podcast that covers all aspects of pediatric dentistry, clinical, business, wellness for dentists, and leading-edge science. It's all right here. And now your host, Dr. Jared Johnson.
Good morning and welcome to Pediatric Dentistry from A to T. This is our first episode and I just wanted to say good morning to everyone. I am here at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago for the ADA Success Speakers training sessions, and I have been looking for a time to record this first episode for the longest time. It has been on my list, and with my kids and being busy, it's just been hard. And this morning I got up a little early and I just saw the most beautiful sunrise here in Chicago over Lake Michigan, and I think that was my sign. I know some of you are aware, not all, but I have dealt with some mental health issues here over the pandemic and suffering from anxiety and depression. And today I wanted to talk about something maybe a little different, and that is just spirituality. So on my journey, I have seen a licensed psychiatrist and also a therapist, which I meet with on occasion. And we got into one day a conversation about just the pillars of wellness and how spirituality factors into that. And he asked me, he goes, well, do you go to church or worship or anything? And I said, oh yeah, we just recently found a church, and it's been really hard for our family to find one. We started going before the pandemic. And we're a traditional church. We have one in our town that is a little more mainstream and just wasn't a good fit for our family. And at the time, the traditional churches in town, we would show up and we'd go and we would be the only young family that was there. And it was hard to keep showing up. And then the pandemic hit and we kind of gave up for a little bit. And then recently, I decided one morning when my wife and kids were gone at the grandparents' to go to church alone. And I never thought I would do this. I just decided one morning to go. And the church was going through a transition, getting a new pastor. And just her message that day, it resonated with me. So I asked my wife, why don't we try this again? And we finally have found our church. And it's just so great. I love our pastor. I love our congregation. I love the message that we get every time we go. And I try to take something away. And recently, we're doing Epiphany. And our pastor got up. And she started talking about differences in all our religions. Whether you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're Catholic, you're Pentecostal, you're Baptist, you're Lutheran like we are. And she got to talking about how we all worship the same God. And we get so bogged down in these tiny little differences between the religions that we lose the focus on what we all agree upon. And that is the God we worship. And come forward, I attended the ADA Council on Dental Education and Licensure last week. And Ray Colmia, the executive director of the ADA, stands up in front of everyone. And we're trying to figure out how we can be more inclusive at the ADA. Not just with race, ethnicity, and gender identification and age, but also with your practice style. Everyone has a different roadmap. We all don't want the same things. We don't all want to have a fee-for-service office. And some people want to serve. They want to serve in the military. They want to teach in academia. They want to serve in public health at an HIV clinic. There are so many ways that we have talents in dentistry, and there's just not one right fit for everyone. And Ray got to talking about how, well, all these different practice modalities, DSOs, associate dentists, military dentists, public health dentists, academic dentists, we all agree on the 97% of things that the ADA wants to do. But we get so bogged down on the 3% that we don't agree on. And I just thought back to Pastor Bance at my church, and I said, that's exactly the message that I'm getting from spirituality. And that is exactly the truth that goes to dentistry and so many other things in life. It could probably be applied to our politicians, not that I want to get into that today. But if we just sit down and take a step back. And furthermore, later on that day, on the council, I can't say specifically what it was about, but it's like, let's just say we all want to eat vegetables, but we can't decide which vegetables we want to eat. But all the vegetables are a good thing. But we had a difficult conversation, and it was not really moving anywhere. And I just thought, I said to the group, I said, this is the 3%. And another individual gave some more input and said, well, what if we removed this line? And then I'm okay with that. And we carried things forward from there. And we worked together because we realized we agreed on the vast majority of the wording that was there. It was just one little thing that was different, that someone had a different opinion. And we moved forward and made a compromise. And that was exactly what Raymond Comia is talking about. And you can see this probably in your life daily. How you can make a little compromise in your practice, with your patients. They don't want fluoride? Okay. That's not a big deal. We know the benefits of it. But if they don't want it, that's okay. That's their choice. Not everyone wants to do everything optimally for their oral health. You can't go home and make them brush twice a day if they don't want to. They have to have some buy-in too. And furthermore, this got going on, and I went at that dinner that night and I thanked the individual that made the compromise. And I said, that took a lot of guts to do. I appreciate you. And we had a great conversation about that. And then I got to talking to Dr. Maurice Miles. And I told him the story about my pastor. And at dinner, he said, I got to show you this. And Maurice is a great man, very, very giving. And he pulled me aside. We went into the hallway up at the signature room at the John Hancock building. And he pulled me aside and he showed me this video. He said, my church asked me if I would do a case pro bono. And he said, I had no clue what case I was going to do. And he showed me this amazing video. And Maurice is not a showboater. He's a very kind man, very humble. And I went back. I couldn't hear the video, but I told him I'm going to go back to the hotel and I'm going to listen to your video that night because it's impactful. But the video was a video of the patient he treated from the church. And he just told me the gist of it at dinner was that the patient had lost his front teeth in an accident when he was younger. And he hadn't been able to smile, hadn't been able to get a job. And, you know, if you don't have your front teeth, that really makes an impact on a person's life. The things we do as pediatric dentists to get these kids to save their front teeth when they have trauma. 7 to 11 is a common age for trauma. And we do such a good job to restore these smiles and do beautiful things and save these teeth. It's amazing what we can do. And this individual had gone so long without it. He was class 3, and Dr. Miles did an amazing job. He did dentures with implants and restored this young man's smile. And the church did a video on it. And it's just a beautiful video. I'll provide the link here in the show notes. And I sent it to everyone on the council. I said, please watch this video. And it got me to thinking about spirituality. And Dr. Miles is very spiritual. And that's okay. I think we are afraid to show that. But look at all the great things people are doing in our profession with spirituality. And we got to talking more, and Dr. Miles goes down to Jamaica and does mission trips down there with his church, and I said I'd love to come with you sometime and work on the kids. I think that would be so rewarding and fulfilling to bring my staff and my office down and to be able to help out in another underserved area. And then this week I got to meet Rico Short and Adonis to the Stars. And he is very spiritual disposed. And I love it. I think it is a part of wellness that we should not be ashamed of. I think we should be able to share it with others. And we should move forward. We end our service at our church every week. And then we say, sharing the love of God and spreading the word of God. And I think that's what a lot of these dentists are doing. And I think it's a very powerful thing to be able to do. And maybe it's not for everyone to talk about it and be out there, but I think we all need to realize that there is some sort of spirituality in wellness. And whether for you it's Christianity or, another religion, that's great. We can all find spirituality in different ways. And I think that's really important for us as dentists to realize in wellness, and the things that we do every day can be used for a good purpose. And we can do great things for charity, and we can go about it quietly too, if we wish. And it's a very, very powerful thing that you can do in your community, in your worship, wherever you worship, to give back and really be a part of gaining also at the same time wellness for yourself. I hope all of you can find spirituality. For those of you that are more interested in wellness resources, we do have 2 upcoming webinars with Hope for the Day. We have Things We Don't Say, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 is an hour long, and Part 2 is an hour and a half. They will be hosted here in March and April, and I hope that you can come and enjoy being open and learning a little bit more about suicide prevention and wellness as a dentist, and be able to better understand mental health and resources within our dental community. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for listening to Pediatric Dentistry from A to T. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with Dr. Johnson, visit us online at www.pediatricdentalce.com. For more tips and tricks, follow Pediatric Dental Seminars on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.